What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here in the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with a brand spanking new edition of MLB and NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. This is going to make a lot of you happy. Producer Jacob is back in our lives, which means we got the main event here back on the Odd Chopper YouTube channel. Check it out, of course. Hit that like button down below. Let the people know that this is the only kind of content you want from me. You don't want to talk process. You don't want to talk through the bets. You don't want to watch me do a 2-hour live stream where I'm breaking down pitchers in depth, spin rates and velocities and hit zones. You don't want to see heat mapping. You don't want to see any of that. Actually, that's not true. Some of you definitely really enjoyed that. I think we're going to find some kind of a live capacity to be able to do afternoons, maybe some mornings here for the people as well. Not sure where it's going to exist, but thank you very much for bearing with me for a week. But producer Jacob had a well-earned vacation, enjoyed himself over in Europe, but he back. So let him know that you missed him very, very badly. Some of you already have. But anywho, we got Bet365 back in our lives. We got Lindy 5. You guys sign up for that. Just $5 for a week. It's less than $1 a day if you don't enjoy the Discord. I really don't mind if you don't want to be there anymore. But here's the thing. Most people who join there are going to find themselves in a really, really good position. I'm trying to put winning bets in your card every single day. We're doing the tracking. We'll get all the tracking stuff caught up here for next week. We got 2-3 weeks basically to get caught up on. Been pretty darn good there in the premium Discord. Had some fun stuff over the weekend where a 12th inning Rowdy Tellez bomb salvaged the home run day. Actually put it way up there with a plus 650 bomb, plus 675 if you got it a little bit earlier there. Ended up having some other nice plays. A first round robin, which ended up making $6. Congratulations. Ain't much, but it's honest work. Anywho, enough talking. We have 15 games, every team in play in the MLB. We got 3 NBA games, including a lock that is coming from that one. And I can't really wait to see what happens here with some of these alt numbers as they're starting to roll out. I mean, we've had a lot of these lines for a day or two. Whatever, we'll get there. If you guys want to fast forward to the NBA section, you can. But I know a lot of you ready to rock MLB, ready to talk. Oh, we won't do as much process, obviously, as the live show because I'm not going to be here for 2 hours. It's going to be sub 25 minutes. Producer Jacob needs to go to bed. He's tired. So without further ado, let's get to the picks. And my whole intro did not have my mic plugged in, but here we go. We got it. Yay, good times. Anyway, we go leans, and I'm going to talk you through these games because that's kind of what you're accustomed to. We got the Reds. We got Miami. Hey, shout out Max Meyer, who ended up doing like Michael Myers stuff, just murdering. Even though that's Psycho in a different movie, different franchise, not even a franchise, just like standalone. I guess there was a Psycho 2, but nobody really liked it. Hitchcock, he's crazy. But we got ourselves Max Meyer going completely ballistic, double-digit Ks, just ran him up. It was insane. And I mean, I broke down his pitch mix pretty in depth yesterday on the video and then did so again on Kyle Kermshaw. If you guys check that out, awesome. But yeah, Edward Cabrera, kind of the same stuff. He's got kind of a new, interesting way of going about it where he's limiting some hard contact. And this just comes down to me, Cincinnati, looking at it. I do think the righties are going to be pretty targetable, but I want to look at the alt markets. I don't really want to be digging Edward Cabrera because there's going to be a lot of these game scripts where he goes for 7-8 strikeouts and you don't even deal with the 4 or 5 because he'll crash and burn in some of those spots. You could go a little bit lower in unit volume there, 0.25 units or something on an 8 or a 9, potentially find your way. But we'll say this. I had this card written before Meyer ended up going out and dealing. So I don't know what that means, but I do think we're going to get some kind of a worse price once it opens here based on historical pricing. And now based on the fact that Cincinnati just got mowed down with, it was an unbelievable outing. I'm like, all right, should I keep the lean? Because that's the true lean. Anyway, another true lean, San Diego and Detroit. They're very far apart from each other right now. I don't know why that is, but you know what? It's all right. San Diego's on the west side of the country, so that makes sense. But they're playing in Detroit, and Spencer Torkelson, the guy has found some form, and I'm very, very happy about it. Now, it's 2 elite pitchers in Nick Pivetta and Jack Flaherty. And Pivetta, he's limiting the hard contact himself, also limiting walks, sub 6% walk percentage. Jack Flaherty hasn't been as sharp, but again, when you get these small sample sizes, it can be as much as who you faced. Now, we saw him get a World Series ring and then go pitch against the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium. That's not ideal. But it was the White Sox, it was the Yankees, it was the Brewers. I'm going to count that as 2 really difficult spots, 2 not so, but Yankees, I guess, in Detroit wasn't that difficult. So like 1.5. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but I do think Pavetta, we can still get after a little bit, even though he's had an amazing start to his season. I would want better than plus 425 for Spencer Torkelson. We'll see if it opens in that realm. We got under 9 here for Baltimore and Washington. And this one, I think, is the most interesting handicap on the entire board, mainly because we know Baltimore's bullpen pretty good. It's going to look inflated if you look at just rotational pitcher numbers because of a 24-2 shellacking by the Cincinnati Reds there on Sunday. So I once again just urge you, try to trim the sample size to something that makes sense. And I tried to remove any type of ridiculousness from that game, and it doesn't look as bad. Now, the wind's blowing out a little bit here, and it's Mitchell Parker on the other side, but Dean Kramer, it's just such a tough spot for me to kind of like want to get too crazy, want to be too invested. So I'm just going to keep a under, and plus we've got enough totals. Just wait on today's card. Seattle and Boston. That is another lean that I've got here today. That is going to be Brian Bayo. We don't have a confirmed Seattle starter, so that is what it is. But I can kind of tell you the book on Brian Bayo because he's kind of been one of my darlings over the course of the last couple of years, mainly because of the ground ball rate. However, it started to have other issues. 4.16 expected ERA in 2023 was decent, but got worse last year in the about the same sample size. He started the season on the IL. This will be his first start, and a 4.56 expected ERA last season, 41.1% hard hit, even though it tends to be more ground ball contact, even though he's good, sub 7.5% barrel percentage at avoiding some of those long balls. It can get really, really hairy for him, plus has a little bit of a walk problem that sniped him again. That was an issue his rookie season in 2022, 10% walk rate, 9.1%, not apocalyptic, but not exactly ideal giving free passes to some of these Mariners. So team total is plus 110. Plus 110. I think that there's at least some interest that I have there. Let's continue on. We got the Phillies. We got the Mets. Over 8. Now, we just saw Bryson Stott. I just got the alert as we're going through this here. Recording at 9:50 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:50 on the West Coast. Bryson Stott just hit a 3-run bomb to make it a 5-4 game. There's 1 out to go, and it's, of course, against Bryce Harper. That's appointment viewing here for Mr. Diaz, although he did, I think, give up the home run. Nope, it was Kranick. Was it Kranick? Nope. Well, he gave up the homer, so it's technically 1 earned run against Diaz and 3 against the other fella. Not good times, not good times. Anyway, the bullpens. I talked about this also on Kyle Kerm's show. The Mets have like a top 3 bullpen in baseball. The Phillies have like a bottom 3 bullpen in baseball. And it's not just because of the sample size. It is truly looking through some of the pitch mixes. Jose Alvarado, not exactly clean there for the Phillies as their closer. And the Mets, Edwin Diaz, traditionally pretty darn good at the old closing thing. We'll see if he can do that against Harper. I'm literally got that at bat in the corner. I've got Sar Thompson out there fouling out for Detroit. Only played 21 minutes. Still not going to get Malik Beasley fantasy score for the Prize Picks people in Discord. That made me sad just now. Anyway, we got ourselves not Tyler McGill. I thought that was going to be just like a no sweat, fired up here. Christopher Sanchez versus Griffin Canning. Griffin Canning, I do expect some negative regression coming his direction, even though not exactly a great start, I would say, to the season. Just looking at some of the advanced metrics relative to the surface stats, which, it's again very loud in 3 starts. We've got ourselves Cardinals, Braves, and Austin Riley. Why didn't I bet Austin Riley to homer today? I talked about it at length, said, I'm going to be very sensitive to price for him, and here's why, yada, 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 and just talked myself out of what was probably close to a pretty good bet. And, well, it was an awesome bet after he went yard. It's just a little bit of a short number. 25.4 degree launch angle, 57.1 degree hard hit percentage. Yeah, I know Palante is a ground ball pitcher, but when you get loft up in that 25 degree range, man, you can really bring a lot of these ground ball pitchers along for the ride if you catch the right pitch. So it's definitely something I'm going to entertain yet again on Tuesday. Can't wait for more torture. Probably 4 strikeouts incoming now that I said that if I do bet it. Pittsburgh and the Angels in Anaheim. Wind blowing out here in this spot, and I do think books expecting some major runs. However, Bailey Falter hasn't been like apocalyptically bad, and it's an Angels lineup that I think is still going to have some hit or miss. Now, Jose Soriano, he really disappointed me last time out, but 4.28 expected ERA, that's higher than 3.16 ERA. I'm just going to kind of tread lightly at these kind of prices, but you're getting plus 1.5 here, really close to that even money number, and that is fascinating to me. So check it out, y'all. I'm going to be reevaluating that one in the morning and maybe try to snipe something on ProfitX No Vig where, once again, you can find better numbers for some of those type plays. Milwaukee and the Giants, Yelich over 1.5 total bases plus money. It really has to do with the spacious ballpark. It really has to do with the fact that he's starting to find some form for the first time with the back issues that have just lingered his career. 51% hard hit, 438 expected slugging, and he'll never be some monstrous home run guy, even though he's got 4 on the season, because of the 2.2 degree launch angle. If that thing was even like 10, we would be talking about 6, 7 already on the agenda. You can go through some of those individual homers. Maybe I'll do something like that on the process because I do like to work through potential homers or what can change as you go through pitchers. But this one, Jordan Hicks is just terrible. More of a ground ball guy, 5.3 degree average launch angle himself, 56.1% ground ball percentage. And Jalen Brunson just got hurt. Oh my, he got hurt. That's going to be fascinating. 90-84. Okay. Oh yeah, baseball. Texas and the A's here. First 5 over 5.5. Very specific market that I was looking at for this one. And once you know it, it's Patrick Corbin. But 5.5 as opposed to 4.5. I mean, the books know exactly what they're doing here. We're going into Sacramento. The Athletics taking them on. Osvaldo Bido is just awful himself. Nearly a 20 degree launch angle, 272 expected batting average. Only a 28.4% ground ball percentage. Can't wait to see the homer numbers on Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia. And I know Jock Peterson has been straight up butthole to start off this season, but like, he's not going to be butthole forever. It's funny to say butthole. Is that all the leans we got? Yeah, let's get to some plays. 6 of them coming your way. But first, Lindy 5, if you guys are looking to get all the plays early, if you're looking to get all of the plays updated throughout the day on Tuesday, if you're looking for all the NBA plays, and if you're looking for all of the Pick'em cards exclusively in the Lindy and Friends exclusive Discord, didn't have a ton of value in the NBA streets, MLB streets over the weekend, but we got back on Monday here. Hopefully we can get Malik Beasley to salvage in the last 6 minutes because easy to with Dennis Schroeder fantasy score, easy with Jalen Duren fantasy score once Isaiah Stewart got ruled out. This is the kind of stuff that I don't always get a chance to talk about night before or when producer Jacob's in Europe. Never. So Lindy 5, head down to the link below, or I guess not never, like I talk too much then. It's like the opposite problem. Anyway, less than $1 a day to come kick it in the Tails Discord. It's not just myself, too. Eitan Shander, Greg Ehrenberg, would love to see you guys there. Let's get to the picks. Oh, there is Eitan. There's Greg. Oh, it's beautiful. All right. Now back to the picks. Let's talk baseball. It's scene time. The Yankees taking on the Cleveland Guardians. These are your official plays, the tracked plays that will be coming your way for Tuesday, April 22nd. Ready, fight. We've got Will Warren going out there against Tanner Bybee, and I am not a fan of either one of these pitchers. And in fact, I'm just confused at what we're looking at for a line. I know this is minus 120 or minus 125 now at Bet365. Damn good fine. I'll suck it to you one more time. We'll get low, but we actually want to go high in this instance. We want runs. 50% hard hit for Will Warren. Now, Tanner Bybee, that's the one thing he does pretty well is limit the hard contact. But guess what? There's no doubter-type batters with Ben Rice, Aaron Judge. We'll see if Trent Grisham is even back in this lineup. He went on the paternity list on Monday. Ended up getting the upgrade to Austin Wells, and I bet 4 quarter-unit home runs there in this Yankees-Cleveland game. 4 other guys in this game hit home runs. Could have just bet the over, Eric. I was already invested. Sometimes I want to break baseball. But anyway, it's been a decent season so far, so I'm not going to complain too much. Could have been really awesome to just get one of those home runs across the board, but I digress, friends. We are just going to go to the over now. You got Gaddis, you've got, Clase's been brutal to start off this season. He pitched 3 days in a row leading into Monday. Didn't obviously pitch on Monday. Brown did. He ended up closing that one out against the Yankees. But over 8, yeah, it's a little bit more juice heavy at that number. And honestly, it's not even that valuable of a half run between the minus 105 sitting there at 8.5. But it's what I bet. So that's what's going in the graphic. The White Sox and the Twins up next. And my Twins, man, probably my least favorite pitcher. Not ever, because, he's definitely had moments for us. He has strikeout stuff at times. But I just think he's overrated and was overrated last 2 years and continues to show out in that negative way. Anyway, Bailey Ober, friends, 20.1 degree launch angle, 55.7% hard hit, 94.5 exit velocity off the bat for batted balls in play, average batted balls in play. It's just an absurdly high number. It doesn't take a lot more for everything to leave the yard. And in fact, That's exactly what's starting to happen to Bailey Ober over the course of this season. The guy, it hasn't even been that long of a year. He's had, 4 outings? 5 home runs allowed, 1.42 whip, which is by far the highest number of his career. Just so many issues, but it's the White Sox on the other side, so you got to be a little bit more careful at what you're looking at, Eric, because that's just kind of the way that the cookie crumbles. But Davis Martin on the other side sucks too, and I really thought I would end up firing something pretty heavy on the White Sox side relative to like what you would ever expect betting on the White Sox side, because they're terrible, but this price isn't as inflated as I was hoping. Like we've seen some plus 250s, plus 260s on like Marlins sides against the Phillies and Rockies playing anybody outside of Coors. So I'm a little bit disappointed that, the books are obviously really valuing this start for Bailey Ober to start off the season, but I think rightfully so. So let's just take another over, and yet again at Bet365. Damn good find. Sakatia one more time. This is minus 120. Again, a little bit more juice heavy. I think the other one has a chance of being more in the minus 110 range by the time you hear this, so it is what it is. But once again, want to get my bets in for the people so I can be official. And over 8, there you are. Now this is a fun one. Colorado plus 1.5 at Kansas City here, and the run line, yeah, it's absurd. But plus 180 on the money line here. You're getting minus money now as it flips around on the other side. But road team, the ninth inning at bat. Always nice to try to cover backdoor if you're looking at the plus 1.5s there. But I'm not going to be tangling at that whatsoever, mainly because I actually have hope for this game staying somewhat intact. It's, of course, our old friend, Ryan Feltner, and it's Chris Bubich on the other side here as well. This one just gets so interesting to me because Bubich has been incredible to start the season, and I don't even know what to do with him at some points. 36.9% hard hit, 369 expected slugging, 26.2% K rate. It's actually down from last year, although different circumstances between the two. But 3.51 expected ERA, 1.88 actual ERA. And I worked through a lot of his pitch mix, as I'm sure you guys learned how I do that a little bit. Velocity's down for him a mile per hour, but his efficiency is just up. So even though the Ks are down slightly, he gets to go up against a Kansas City team that, even though they have some righties, some of those righties are just better against righties. And it's just one of those spots, on the other side for Ryan Feltner going up against a righty in Feltner where it gets a little bit scary. But Bubich, the lefty going up here against Colorado, this is such a good spot. 31.4% K rate do the Rockies have against left-handed pitching and just a 67 WRC plus, the 5th worst mark in baseball. And that's a 207 plate attempt sample size. So not exactly 0 plate attempts. Obviously, we're going to get a lot more as we go along. And I kind of expect Colorado to stay in that range, especially on the road, especially when you get them outside, of course. So under 8.5. Really expecting no run creation whatsoever from either side. And Feltner, definitely my favorite of these Colorado pitchers to take shots on. So I'm going toward this total. It's under it. It's minus 102 at Novig. You guys can check that out. Novig, an awesome opportunity. Use promo code Lindy if you guys want to, but you don't have to. It's just an idea. The Doyers taking on the Cubbies and wind blowing out in Wrigley. Yet we have a pretty low total at 8.5 compared to some of those, 10.5s, 11.5s that you had for closing. And then the ridiculous 7th and 8th innings that just went berserk for the Cubbies in Arizona game. But it's Shota Imanaga. And Shota Imanaga, I brought this up multiple times over the course of the Lindy's Locks live streams. And that is how nice it was to be a pitcher in Wrigley last year. The wind was blowing in a lot more than normal. And now we had one extreme game environment that, went berserk later. Both the starters, just amazing stuff from Corbin Burns, amazing stuff from Colin Ray to start off that game. But, of course, my wife's calling me. Don't mind me. Anywho, we've got ourselves a very interesting situation because Shota Imanaga giving up some hard contact. And Wrigley with the wind blowing out, we definitely want to take advantage. We definitely want somebody, something, a hero, if you will, a hero at the end of the night. Now, Tommy Edman's been awesome out of the 3-hole here against lefties. And Teoscar Hernandez has been a little bit brutal, I would say, to start off the season relative to what I expect from him. Still a 458 expected slugging, still decent slash line, 250, 274, 488. You want a little bit better considering it was at 272, 339, 501 last year. But Will Smith has been downright a doggy, and he's got a 25.9 degree launch angle to go with it. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to go a quarter unit total bases because it's going to be very nice here when it shows up inside of -105. And we're going to go a quarter unit on the home run here for Will Smith, which should be outside of the +300 mark, which again, sounds insane to only say +300 for Will Smith. I have him projected batting 5th in the lineup here. Maybe they move him above Teoscar. I doubt it though. But I think looking at historical data, it's going to be tough. It's going to be something that I'm going to inherently take the quarter unit no matter what here. But I think this is going to be an awesome spot for us to get one of the better right-handed hitters, and not just right-handed catchers, because there's not very many good catcher hitters. It's like Cal Raleigh, him, the Contrerases, or if it's plural, Contreras. Yeah, we're done. But not with all the games. Toronto taking on Houston up next, and I'm going to fly you fools. Toronto at Houston. This one's very straightforward to me. Very, very straightforward. I have starters that I want to isolate, and when I have that, I am going to isolate away. We've got Chris Bassett, who's been probably the best pitcher in the AL to start off the season. Wild to say. I know Tariq Skubal is good, but Chris Bassett, 0.77 ERA, 5.4% walk rate, 33.3% K rate. Where did that come from? Now, small sample sizes matter, but look at the teams he's had to face. The Braves, the Red Sox, the Mets, the Orioles. By season's end, those are all top 12, top 15 offenses in baseball. Unbelievable start for Chris Bassett. So I went through his pitch mix. Everything looks just better. I want to get better. Now, Ronel Blanco is not better. Definitely a fly ball pitcher. Definitely scary, but you get this Toronto team that is way better against lefties. I mean, they just murder lefties on the season. Best WRC plus in baseball, 150. And you get them at the shorter side there. And any polls, obviously in Minute Maid or, whatever they call it. I think it's still Minute Maid. Anyway, whatever. In Houston here, you definitely have wider territory there to right field, even though Jordan Alvarez generally hits it far. Can you just do something here tonight? Bro, I need you. 5-0 there. Can we do something with ourselves? Hunter Brown, what did he finish with? Oh yeah, he went nutties. Alvarez, single. We need one more hit. It's going to be one of those days. But first 5 under 4.5. Really like it. The math likes it too. So isolating the starters, 4.5 -114. Surprised that this isn't like 3.5 plus money or something of that nature. That's a very important run for me to get against Toronto and Houston. And Houston, not a ton of lefty bats to really cause problems for Chris Bassett. And our last play, this is going to have to be updated tomorrow. Now, I don't want anybody mad at me. I only have one of the two numbers. Jonathan Aranda is the guy that we've got here currently, but there's another lefty that I think you've probably heard of before, Corbin Carroll. Yeah. Both of them in awesome spots. Now, I haven't seen the roof status because, if you just Google, what is the roof doing in Chase Field? It will literally tell you. It's like the first thing you click on in MLB, and some people are just like, how did you know the roof was going to be open? Because I put in the work. But I will say this. The 9 total has me leaning towards it being open for the evening festivities there on a beautiful night. Plus, it's a lot cooler. I was in Scottsdale for a week. It was beautiful. It's lovely. Some of you didn't enjoy I didn't have a video Friday or Saturday or Sunday or ever on the weekends because I never do weekends. Except for Sunday night. I always do Sunday night. I did Sunday night. Anywho, Jonathan Aranda, smack into base, 60.8% hard hit, 14.2 degree launch angle. Hi, hello, how are you? And Corbin Carroll, 16.7 degree launch angle, 56.7% hard hit. I would want Jonathan Aranda, quarter unit on the card right now if I didn't know Corbin Carroll's odds, but kind of want to know Corbin Carroll's odds. So here's how this is going to go. Lean like both of them here against righties that I really don't have a ton of faith in. Zach Littell, Brandon Pfaadt just got paid. He pitched so well over a postseason that got him a lot of money, but 367 ex-Woba still figuring it out here in the early stages of this season. Corbin Carroll home run, Jonathan Aranda home run. It could be one, it could be both. It will at least be one. I will eat the quarter unit no matter what, and I'm not saying eat because I think they're going to be great plays as is. Plus 425 at Bet365 at open for Aranda. Still waiting on Carroll, but ideally better than plus 315 for him. And ideally, Bet5 get 150 for you if you're in one of these great states: Iowa, Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Illinois, Louisiana, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, and North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Take your shirt off, twist it around your head, spin it like a helicopter. North Carolina, this one's for you. This one's for who? Us. What's up? Yeah, bet 5, get 150 down at the link below. I screwed the end of that song up. Don't mind me. Anyway, bet 5, get 150. It works like this. You deposit $10 or more. You bet anything with minus 500 or greater. So like literally anything that you could possibly want to your heart's desires. And when you bet that $5, you get 150 in bonus bets. May I suggest, like, I don't know, the biggest favorite on the board in the NBA or MLB? Just take them for $10, get your 150 in bonus bets, win or lose, and move along with your day. Yeah, it's only for 21 and over, 18 and over in Kentucky. If you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Check that out down at the link below. Back to the picks we go. NBA time. Now, because there's 3 games here, producer Jacob's lovely. We didn't do the lean card. I have 1 lean, I have 1 like, I have 1 lock, and we're just going right in with the hot fire here. Milwaukee, 19-point loss there to Indy, and Kyle Kuzma probably should, start learning Chinese, buddy. I love that GIF. It works every single time. But let's talk through some of the ins and outs here of what I am staring at. And that is just a weird number for a guy who I think is going to play a lot more if the game scripts are similar to what we saw on Saturday. Now, again, 117.98. Kyle Kuzma was a complete no-show, did absolutely nothing. Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, Indy was firing on all cylinders, and shout out in Indiana for having like a raucous crowd. Shout out, Caitlin Clark up there on her phone during the game. Get off your phone. Anyway, Milwaukee plus 4.5. I thought and took a look at that. I thought it was going to be something where we maybe had some value there. No. We're staying far away from that. But regardless of the spread, regardless of the total, well, not irregardless, because 228.5, pretty decent total here that we're still staring at for the game script. Bobby Portis played 25 minutes, shot 2 for 8, 0 for 4 from 3, and yet he was a plus 3. He was one of the rare guys on the Milwaukee side. The other 2, Jericho Sims, Chris Livingston, who played like not at all, plus 2 and plus 3. Everybody else on the floor. Oh, Andre Jackson played a minute and was plus 2. Whatever. My whole point is Kuzma was a minus 24. Giannis even a minus 18. Taurean Prince minus 15, minus 18. Now it's one game sample size, but you got Bobby Portis up to 33 minutes in a game that mattered before they rested him for the final regular season game. Only 28 minutes, I think, was a casualty of the blowout script. I think he is walking into a lot more minutes, especially if Kyle Kuzma gets off to a slow start. And even if that is the case, there are so many lineups where they get Brook Lopez off the floor. Brook Lopez only played 21 minutes, was a minus 18 himself. If he doesn't knock down threes, this is just a tough spot for him to get rolled out into. So the more I look at it, the more I stare at it, I got to get down and dirty with my bad self. Bobby Portis. Yeah. Is Mirotic out there? Can we fire him up a little bit? Bobby Portis over 11.5 points, friends. That's a lock at minus 110. He averaged nearly 14 a game. There's no Damian Lillard potentially. We could be looking at an awesome spot going forward here. I think Bobby Portis has to play more for this Milwaukee team. Memphis plus 14.5 at OKC. This was obviously the murder that we witnessed. Absolute murder on Easter. Like, hopefully kids look away kind of stuff, but I don't have any play for you here. I'll just recap the game in general because the numbers look pretty efficient across the board. You had really tough minutes. I mean, the most minutes off the bench was John Conchar, minus 28, plus minus there for Memphis. It was a blowout the whole way through. The game was over after like the first quarter, and it never got better. I want to get better. Jalen Williams was a plus 44. That doesn't even look real. Alex Caruso was a plus 30 in 12 minutes. How? Like, Oklahoma City's so good. So I'm obviously leaning the minus 14.5, but I expect Memphis to play somewhat better, to have some kind of pride. And all of that being said, they're probably going to get bludgeoned. 6 for 34 from 3 from Memphis. Thanks for coming. Have a nice day. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, Los Angeles Lakers, my Minnesota Timberwolves. Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. No, we're not going to Shawshank Redemption. We're just going to the Minnesota plus 5.5 here and getting the heck up out of here for producer Jacob. It's a big number. I've got this closer to 2.5, 3. I thought the opening spread, I almost took Minnesota the first time around. Decided not to be a homer. We're doing all right. We're finding profit on a day in, day out basis there in the premium Discord. Not every single day. I don't want to lie to the people. Obviously, Monday, not looking like it's going to be profitable for me by day's end unless Robbie Ray can go over 2.5 walks. It's a weird thing to say out loud. but the Mets really should have been a lock. Anyway, shout out Detroit for getting it done. Woo! Minnesota got it done here too, but you know what? You're going to get Luka. You're going to get LeBron. You're going to get Austin Reeves. I'm still a little bit worried. Look at Jaden McDaniels' rebound props. I think that's going to be something else we want to take a look at again tomorrow. Small ball lineups. Jackson Hayes playing off the floor. Naz Reid is a god, but Minnesota plus 5.5. I'm going to take the points. Not going to go to the money line. Not going to be the ultra homer. Plus Lakers. Yeah, Luka's pretty good. He's had Minnesota's had our number for quite some time. He even played pretty darn well, I would say, in that entire game. Yeah, more of a product of the other Lakers not adding enough. So Minnesota plus 5.5, straightforward finish to the card. And that does it for the first in a long time edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know how happy you are to not have to deal with me talking you through all my stats. But obviously, I think a lot of you did enjoy that. We'll talk through how we can go about that live programming, what it looks like. Ooh, I'm very intrigued. CC, very intrigued. I loved Dan Lebitard's dad once upon a time. Bet365, damn good find. They're down below. Talked about them. Lindy 5, that's active. If you guys want to jump in the Discord, would be awesome to see you there. But producer Jacob needs bed. I probably need it too. Let's get out of here. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB and NBA streets on Tuesday.